Good morning, everybody. Buenos días. Good morning, America, Peru, everywhere. Hola,
Yeah,
Kit. Hola, Zach.
we're
Hola,
worldwide.
amigos.
We're worldwide.
Buenos días. Muy bien. I hear there are
Yeah.
some storms and rain in the States or in some coast of the States.
Well, just
Tell me more about it,
Keith's
guy.
part of the state. That's
Yeah,
it.
Okay.
My
yeah.
part's fine. It's sunny
Okay,
here.
so I'm actually going to try this. I don't know if this works or not, but let's see. Let me.
It's only the garden of Kick, right? The storm.
Can you?
Right. Oh wow.
Oh, man.
Okay, so this is what we just had just a few minutes ago.
That's a little shower, Keith.
Yeah, it was just a little brief shower.
That's a little shower.
With 50 plus mile an hour winds.
That's one of those That's one of those car wash showers. That's all that is.
Well, I was grateful.
Just like in Lima.
Oh my! If Lima got a rainfall like that, I don't know what would happen.
I'll start to build an ark. That's it.
Have you ever seen that much rain in your life, Pablo? That's the question.
Oh man, in Lima no, but in the Andes, the mountains, yes, or in the jungle too, yes.
Oh yeah.
But that, yes, in Peru, there is rain like this in Peru.
Yes,
especially out towards the jungle.
But in Lima, no.
Oh, we
Lima,
we saw it in Nauta last year. We saw rain like that.
Yeah, but it was not so much, no? Like in February or January, even the animals go outside from the river. You can see animals walking on the on the roads because of the rain.
Right.
In the jungle.
Just a little shower. So, Zach, what you doing hanging out at your house today?
Just thought I'd be here today. I thought about going to Pavilion number 4, but I was like, I don't want to drive out there. So I didn't drive. I just stayed home.
Well, it was Zach and I actually met up at Pavilion number 4 on Friday.
We did.
Yes.
You met up on Friday.
Yes.
Yep.
And
got to talk for about 5 hours.
It was about 3 hours, I think, that we were out there.
But still, it's a long time.
And we will go on record as saying we invited Bobby Wayman to come.
And Bobby Meade.
And Bobby Meade, yes. But, Bobby Meade, at least he was at work. Bobby Wayman just, didn't come. And so, Bobby, appreciate you, man. That's the way. Glad to know you got our back.
Glad to know we're friends.
Yeah.
And you want to hang out with us.
So, yeah, I kind of snuck up on Zach.
I didn't see your text. I didn't see it. I was playing
Thursday evening and said, "Hey, meet me at Pavilion 4 and bring the most unhealthy breakfast you can find."
Let me tell you what that text meant to me, Keith. I was playing golf that day. Horrible day, awful. Lost all kinds of balls. Lost a bunch of tees, broke them. It was a terrible day. And then I get off to where I get service, and as soon the first text I see, "Hey, bring your favorite unhealthy breakfast food to Pavilion number 4 tomorrow." And I was like, yes!
Okay, think about it.
I was so happy. It made my day. It made me feel so much better.
Pablo, one of these days, soon I may show up at your house too.
My
it's a little bit farther of a drive.
There was rain last Thursday in Lima. I mean, rain. Yes.
Really? Real rain.
Yes.
Wow.
They just made some floods even in the church building and my house.
Oh no, that's bad.
Member house.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because the quality of our
roof.
roof, no? It's because of that, not because
Yes.
the rain is heavy.
Well, your roofs are not very substantial because it never rains.
Yeah, that's it.
So-
And then we are approached to the American campaign. John Farber is coming tonight to Peru.
Yes.
Yes.
I talked to him
The
a while
Farber.
ago. Yes.
And well, my work will start tomorrow.
So
Heavy
how's
work.
your to-do list? Because the campaign actually begins in 9 days?
9 days, yes. My to-do list is already it's another to-do list. The other one was complete. I have 7 more items.
How can a man like Pablo be that busy? He's got a different, longer to-do list every single day. It never fails.
Yeah, it's good for me
Well,
because
hey,
I not a good reminder.
Yeah.
When you have friends like John Farber, you better have a to-do list.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
You cannot miss anything.
Yep. Well, so yeah, that's that campaign starts on June the 7th. The team members will be flying in, and so that's coming up fast. That's 9 days away.
We've got a few going for the Paintsville congregation. So
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. Let's give a few shout outs here, okay? We have to give a shout out to Bobby Mead as we start, because he would have been at Pavilion 4 on Friday if he hadn't been working.
right.
And then Bobby Wayman, who would have been at Pavilion 4 if he had remembered to set his alarm clock.
Or if he liked us.
Yeah, I really think he just didn't want to, but yeah. And then Roger and Sarah are going to make their first trip to Peru. And,
Pablo, I've got somebody who you need to translate for.
Oh, yes, Pablo. We have the guy for you to translate for.
It's going to be great. His name is Roger, and his last name is Williams, and he will be down there in that campaign starting June 7th. So,
and we have already arranged for you to be his translator.
Exactly. It's going to be. You think Stan is hard. You think Johnny is hard. You have no idea what you're in for.
Wait till you meet Roger.
He is the epitome of the Eastern Kentucky accent.
Roger's accent is so heavy that no one north of the Mason-Dixon line can understand a word he says.
That's the truth.
For that matter, no one south of the Mason-Dixon line can understand the word he says.
It is thick, and you are going to you're going to love it, Pablo. You're going to love it. He's a great guy.
Let's see. What can I do? I feel flattered, by the way.
He is awesome. You will love him personally. He is an awesome guy.
Yes, he is absolutely fantastic.
He may be one of those people, though, when you see, you're like, okay, Abraham, you can have him. Vámonos, go!
Okay, I don't know if he will speak one night or one day morning, but I'm pretty sure I will take
he will.
He'll
speak one morning. Yes.
Okay.
He
You
will.
just tell me, okay, he's the guy. Okay, I will take him for the translation.
I won't have to tell you he's the guy.
You will know he's the guy.
He's the guy.
Oh, okay, for the accent. Okay.
So here's the way this will work, Pablo.
Okay.
Roger will speak, and we'll get Bobby Wayman to translate what Roger says. And then you can translate what Bobby says. It'll be great.
Man.
It'll work. Trust me.
Oh, Raj.
Okay. Let's work on that. Let's do it.
That's great.
So how many people from
I really
Facebook
hope Roger
are coming?
to this. I really do. we need to make sure Roger, or at least Sarah, hears this. But
Yeah.
yeah, Roger is one of my absolute favorite people.
He is a worker and a half.
Yes, and you're going to love Roger, and cannot wait to see him down there and working. Let me mention also another shout out. Our newest listener to Let's Talk About Christianity, Phyllis.
Phyllis! That's
Yes.
awesome. When did she?
Gracias, Phyllis.
Well,
Phyllis
she'll actually be. This will actually be the first episode that she's going to listen to. But
that is awesome.
yeah, we've got Phyllis on board now. So that
You would love Phyllis too, Pablo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But okay. So let's see what happened last week. Oh, wait. Before we talk about last week, this is the final episode of season 2. We have been doing this for 2 whole seasons now.
Wow.
And, yeah, it is a big wow, especially when you think of, and this is episode number 46 in season
46.
2. And that means over the past year, we only missed 6 weeks. And, when you consider holidays and, I know we missed when, Zach, we were going to record in Peru back in December and just never could get together. And,
that was a busy trip.
And then with me moving last summer and everything, it's, I think it's impressive that we managed to get 46 episodes in this past year. Yep. And, of course, our goal is probably like 50. If we can get 50, that would be great in season 3. But you know what? It wouldn't be possible if we didn't have people who were, and as I say, supporting us. I don't mean financially.
No, no financial support at all.
Oh, there is no financial support. But it's I got to give thanks to the elders here at Shady Acres. They've been behind me and this work from day one, and it's great to have people who have your back.
Yeah,
and and with Pablo, you coming on board, that's exciting stuff. We have so enjoyed having you on here. Thank you for your service, but we won't be needing you any longer.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
I knew that it was the.
Pablo, we love you. You're another co-host.
I was trying to fire Pablo on the episode.
No, we love you, but.
We love you, but we're not going to need your services.
Yeah.
No, we're thrilled that you have come on with us. And next week we will actually begin season 3. And we have a guest lined up, but I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Because we don't want to jinx it.
Well, because I was talking to him Sunday or Monday, sometime Sunday and Monday. I think his daughter actually showed up at church here, and that which was completely random. But we were talking, and he's like, "Look, I'm not, if it's technology, I can break it." And I'm like, we're going to try to set this up so simply that. You're going to have to work hard to break it. So I think it'll work. So
there we go.
Looking forward to that. So last week I went on a rant. I'm not going to blame you guys for that.
Long rant.
It was a rather lengthy rant. Yes, it was. We'd been studying Colossians chapter 3 and We knew as we began Colossians chapter 3 that it was going to take a little while to get all the way through the chapter. There's an awful lot that is there. And so we're actually down toward the end of Colossians chapter 3 right now. And I want to make a few points from this, even as we are trying to wrap this chapter up, because we're going to wrap Colossians 3 up today. But, as we look at what Paul says in the latter part of the chapter, he starts out saying, "Wives, submit to your own husbands as is fitting in the Lord. And husbands, love your wives and do not be bitter toward them." And I think we talked about we
made it all the way down to fathers, do not provoke your children. We talked about that.
We talked about that, but
we found out that Keith is a provoker when it comes to his children.
Just of my children.
Yeah, just of your
not
children.
Not of all children, just of my children. But
right.
I really want to talk about verse 22, though.
Okay.
Because Paul says, "Bondservants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in sincerity of heart, fearing God." And, as we look at this passage and this scenario and, all that's going on there, we know that they had slavery in that day and time, and that there were Christians, perhaps even a lot of Christians, who were slaves. We don't have that today.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
But that doesn't relieve us of what Paul says here in verse 22. So it would almost be the same as if Paul were saying employees. If you are an employee, if you are working in service of someone else, you better do your job.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's what's crazy. 20, 30 years ago, this would not be a conversation in our society, in our culture. But, it shocks me. I mean, shocks me the number of employers that I talk to who say, we can't get people to work.
Yeah. That's a common complaint of employers lately, and it surprises me too. Me.
There were rumors of one of the local fast food restaurants, saying that they were going to have to close their doors because they could not find employees.
Yeah.
And okay, so they're not paying the most. I understand that. I get that, but
it's still an in-between job. You can still do it.
What your job is. You do the job.
And you take pride in doing that job.
And you take pride in it. And what Paul tells us here is not personal pride, but you serve your employer as if you were serving the Lord.
Yeah.
And now that could lead to a whole nother discussion, because we know that there are those who don't offer their service to the Lord at about the same pace as they don't offer their services to their employers.
And that's the point that I got out of these verses was, you got two different types of servants. You have servants who do things because they got to do things, and then you have servants who actually do them out of the loving, out of the sincerity of their heart. And at the end of the day, the way that we should serve the Lord is we have to serve him out of the sincerity of our heart. We can't just do things because we're commanded to do them and just say, okay, well, this is an obligation that I have to fulfill. And a lot of people take that look at it. And that perspective.
And this is something else that it isn't really discussed in this passage, but it is certainly tangential.
That's a good word.
Thanks. Been saving it. To some degree, what we do is who we are.
Exactly.
And you know people, I know people that have they started a job when they got done with school, and 30 years later they're still working, maybe not the same job, but they're still working for the same company and doing the same thing. And and there are people that we know that you can point to that guy, and say, hey, do you know so and so, and oh, he's the fireman, or
Right.
he's the mailman, or what. To some degree, what we do defines who we are.
Mm-hmm.
If our lives have not been defined by our service to God, then that's not who we are.
It's a very good point.
And if our lives have not been defined by our service to our vocation, then in a lot of ways we are without identity.
Well, you've always heard it said, they won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you put care and love and your heart into the service that you're performing for the Lord, or just care, heart, and love into the service that you're performing for an employer, or whoever you're working for, whatever job you're working for, you need to be the embodiment as a Christian. You need to be the embodiment of a person who puts all that they have into everything that they do. You need to be the embodiment of a person who cares, who shows compassion, who loves, who does whatever they're doing with their entire heart, because people see that. It stands out to people. People see that you care, and when they see that you care, they're going to want to do what you're doing. You're going to inspire them. You're going to encourage them, and we need to remember that.
And we read verse 23, and Paul says, whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men. Now, let's be honest. There are always going to be the occasional things that we do because we know someone else is watching.
Yeah.
See,
I don't mean that to sound hypocritical, but that's just the way that it is. And Paul is telling us, though, that we need to do those things that are right because that's who we are, not because someone else is watching.
Yep.
And what's the old saying about character? Is it character?
What's the old saying? I already had my old saying. What's your old saying?
Character is who you are when no one is watching.
Yeah.
Is that the way the saying goes? So it goes something like that. For some random reason, I was suddenly wishing that we had Griffin Collins to help us with that saying, because I don't know why, but I felt like he could have told us what that saying was.
Griffey.
I saw him Friday night also at the graduation, and the whole reason we were over there, I'll throw out also, is we went to Johnson Central's graduation and watched Ashley and Riley and Gina graduate, and got to hang out with many others. But as we look to define ourselves, we need to give thought to our service to God, and let that be the foundational definition of who we are.
Yep. That's a good point. What time check? Where are we at?
We got about 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, somewhere in there.
I figured we were close. Okay, Pablo, what's your final summation?
It put me that maybe those servants weren't Christians, and they were serving to the eye of the Lord. And when they became Christians, it was a new perspective for them. And I think that when they become to serve to God instead of the eye of the servant, Paul is very clear, but it will not only bring a new kind of life, it also a new testimonial in front of the other servants.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And you know, going off of what you just said there, when those people became Christians, the other servants should have been able to have seen the difference.
See.
People should see the difference in the life that you're living as a Christian, and if they're not, then you're not living your life correctly. You're not living it the way that you should be living it.
Zach, what's your summation?
My old saying,
Which
people
old
won't
saying?
care what you know
Oh.
unless they know how much you care.
You got that like written on your hand today or something? And
No.
okay.
I used it in a sermon. I've used it in 3 straight sermons, and I love it, and so leave me alone.
Are you going for 4?
Yes. I'm making an entire series out of that phrase.
Wow.
There you go.
A volume 1, volume 2.
You can only beat a dead horse so much. Pablo. Keith, what's your summation?
Yeah, I don't know that I really have a summation. I just talked for 10 minutes, so why do I need a summation?
I don't know. Well, Pablo.
People should be able to see a difference.
They should be.
Yeah. I'm going to throw
they
out
should.
also that today is the, 20-something of
Yeah.
29th. Tomorrow, the 30th of May, I'm going to be starting a gospel meeting at Delhaft, Missouri, and I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you're in the vicinity of Delhaft, I'd love to see you. Yeah, I think that was all that I had right there. So, or if you're going to be in Dexter for their vacation Bible school on Tuesday, I'd love to see you there, because I think I'm speaking there on Tuesday. I think. But so.
Well,
okay. Good luck there.
We've got a camp out starting on Sunday, going through Tuesday. It's a youth camp out. We've got a youth gathering Friday night at the Spillway in Jenny Wiley.
I was going to say, did you ever confirm whether you're going to be like traveling up Paintsville Lake on Steve's pontoon boat? Or?
I have not. Okay. I will try to confirm that tonight.
I'm just saying
that needs to happen.
Count the number of life preservers. That's all I'm saying. You know,
we've only got one. We've only got one, kids. So if we go overboard, hold on to the boat until it sinks, and then hold on to each other.
Okay. I possibly traveling this Saturday to Chimbote.
We need to remember those who are going to Peru too.
Well, we're gonna get next week's episode in before the trip to Peru. So,
and we need also to remember Pablo, because of the translating he's going to have to do.
Oh man.
Yes. Well,
Pablo needs to be in our minds.
Pablo, you got this. We know you've got this. So,
got it.
All right. Hey, we got to get out of here. Zach, you're doing this. Did you have something else?
No, I was thumbs up.
Oh, thumbs up. Okay. All right. We got to get out of here. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week, Lord willing, with a special guest. So,
yep.
Ooh.
Peace.
Bye. Love.